Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Bringing you raw intellect straight to your screens. We are in Nakuru region for the Great Debaters Contest. This is Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. We have St. Xaviers and Magomano girls debating on whether formal education has killed creativity and should be overhauled. We'll have the first debater take the stage. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
I'm Salama Njeko from St. Xaviers High School, and I'm here to propose the motion that states that formal education has killed creativity and therefore has to be overhauled. Creativity, according to me, is the power to innovate, invent, and create. Formal education is the filling in of students with common knowledge and basic facts. Therefore, on to my first point, formal education educates people out of their creative capacity, making students get anesthetized to go to school and get degrees which go to waste, since most of them are forced to something that they know they can't innovate. On to my second point. When people say we need to raise our living standards, we have no problem with that. The only problem is that this education system was designed for a different age, an age where we're supposed to be having intellectual positions in our industrial and economic revolution. Therefore, we can't honestly put all the blame on the creativity. On to my third point, we should celebrate and use the gift of intelligent human imagination wisely, where we should use it to hope for the future, where we have to understand everything that's supposed to be done, and we can depend on the imagination of our students, making it to reconstitute the conception of the human brain capacity. Thank you.
First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Helen Monia from Magomano Girls High School, opposing the motion that says formal education is killing creativity and should be overhauled. First, what is education? Education is a process by which people acquire skills and knowledge which can benefit them. According to the definition also of formal education, this is an organized instruction conducted by teachers or administrators to provide education that is necessary to the students, and these people have been given the mandate to do so. And creativity, involves the use of skills and knowledge and also imagination to combine up with them and come up with an idea, to come up with something new. On to my first point. Formal education provides a background knowledge about an idea. How does formal education do this? This comes about when works of people, since creativity is works of people, as in we study the creativity of other people. It comes about when one, for example, you want to come up with an automatic car. An automatic car. First, this person has to collect information about a structure of a vehicle and should know how a vehicle operates. Then goes to the second step of knowing how a manual car was made, hence coming up with an automatic car. Hence also will be creative more to come up with a car that is water-driven. On to my second point, formal education enhances creativity. How does formal education enhance creativity? Since creativity is doing something common in an uncommon way. This is situation whereby students practicing artificial brooding, artificial brooding is whereby you use artificial methods like you provide the brooder with electricity and warmth also. Now a student may sit down, think of something or come up with something, how to use natural source of heat, whereby he or she will use the sunlight to trap the radiations of the sun, hence knows methods of, let's say, to install the warmth by use of insulators. Hence, the teachers will appreciate his creativity or her creativity, since it will be benefiting the school. To my last point, formal education is a learner-centered. This is where students do the learning, whereas teachers are the ones who facilitate the education. Hence, join me in opposing the motion that says formal education is killing creativity, hence should be upheld. Thank you.
We'll now hear rebuttals, beginning with the proposition. You have 3 minutes.
I'm Ian Thiga from St. Xaviers High School, here to propose the motion that formal education kills creativity and therefore should be overhauled. First off, I'd like to say that formal education takes up the creative time for students by quoting Albert Einstein, who once said that it is a miracle that formal education has not killed, that curiosity has survived formal education. I think it is safe to say that students do not have time to explore their creative nature, rather than what they are programmed to do is only answer what is written in textbooks and what they are being fed upon by teachers. Then I would like to say that formal education lacks a creative environment for students, and that formal education models students in a way that they have to grasp what has already been formulated by a certain board or a committee of people, rather than trying to explore or make critical decisions based on certain facts. In that, students spend most of their time cramming points that they are being taught in class, rather than being taught how to critically think upon a question to get an answer. Then next we have, formal education suppresses creativity to the point that after an individual's working period, they are not left with much options. I would explain this by saying that formal education only teaches students to learn to benefit them through a certain working period, after which, like in Kenya, we have a retirement age of 65, after which all you are left with is probably farming and any other skills that you acquire naturally, rather than creativity, since it was not, the foundation for your creativity skills were not built upon in school. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
Nevilet Kamau from Magomano Girls High School. I stand here to oppose the motion that states that formal education is killing creativity and therefore should be overhauled. First of all, I have a question for my opponents. If formal education is killing creativity, we here are in formal education. Will we be here in this great debaters contest? Remember, our school are supporting us. Being here, it's because of our teachers realizing our talents, realizing we can debate, we have the ability to debate, and hence we should be here. So I don't think formal education kills creativity. On to my first point, I'll say that formal education is not killing creativity. Let's take, for instance, we have libraries in our school. We have the documentaries. I mean, in libraries, it's not only the basics books that are there, physics books, we have other documentaries whereby I get other ideas. I enhance my ability to think, my ability to be creative. I enhance it through there. Let's take, for instance, I was at home doing informal education. My parent is not that well off economically. Will I get the books? Will he or she have money to buy me those documentary books? So I think formal education will and will never kill creativity. My second point, formal education gives a sense of direction to the innovators. Let's take, for instance, we had the Chinese students who tried to hack the FBI account. If they thought of it as creativity, but what would have happened if we were able to get to our secrets, get to our most deepest critical secrets? What would have happened? We would have been ruined. We would have been crying right now that security, security. There's no enhancement in security. Where else, they thought they have creativity, but it was wild creativity. Creativity that they did in secret, not governed by anyone, but they thought they could govern it by themselves. But with formal education, I have a teacher in my music class. I have a teacher in my drama class who can now govern me, tell me, no, you are shouting. You have to say it with all your vigor. Yeah, formal education, it's not killing creativity. To my last point, formal education does not kill creativity. Why am I saying this? It creates awareness. What is formal education here? Formal education, we are learning about past innovations, past creativity. For example, Graham Bell. We are learning of what the ideas he was able to come up, so that I don't come with another repeated idea of the same idea. What will I feel? I come, Mommy, teacher, I just came up with this idea, and it's like, this was already brought up by another person. My esteem will go low. But me having books in school, learning that Graham Bell came with that telephone, I have now to create my other idea. Why not make it a touch or a smartphone? So formal education, once again, opponent, it doesn't kill creativity. It makes me go through the right way. Thank you.
M-Pesa is very beneficial, first of all, because if we look at the family men, they are able to pay bills easily through their phones, rather than going to the banks, the long queues, the scorching sun, it has reduced all that burden. So to me, M-Pesa, ndio njia kutumia.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The audience has posed questions to the two teams. They will be responding shortly. The proposers have been asked, will medical practitioners who retire not go into private practice? And of course, the opposition have been asked, are creative activities such as drama really part of our educational curriculum, and are they examinable? They'll be responding shortly. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Well, my name is John Kennedy from St. Xaviers High School. If I heard your question right, I think what my colleague was referring here, he was generalizing. He never meant to say that, for those who have the ability, who can be doctors, that's fine. But let us look at the bigger picture. In short, what my colleague was saying is that some of the lessons offered actually do not align with the dreams and passions of the learner. What do I say? What do I mean by that? All I'm saying is this. The system is only keen on setting items that emphasize on understanding rather than application. And that's why we are proposing a radical surgery of the system from standardized settings. The subjects offered in school do not align with the passions and dreams of learners, since the system is only keen on setting, understanding, rather than output.
Third opposer, you also have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
Lynette Lusimba from Magomano Girls. The response to the question that has been posted. Formal education, apart from the syllabus that has been fixed, it also provides the student with an explosive environment. The drama and the music festivals, they are kept to stimulate the student so that apart from the syllabus that he or she is undergoing, she also gets exposed to the rest of the things. They are not only examined on what they are taught in class, but also on their creativity. Let's take, for example, like Otongolo. Why it's not for the formal education? Where would he have been? The teachers and the parents and also the government supported him in what he was creative in under the formal education. Formal education also creates competition among students, hence speeding up creativity. Like if a teacher came to class and gave a sum, how many of you would not like to outstand the others? In the process of getting the answer, all students would be creative, trying to use simpler and fast methods so that they can get the answer and outshine the rest. So formal education is not killing creativity, and it should not be overhauled. Formal education also eradicates illiteracy. Like let's take an example. If someone from the rural areas who hasn't undergone the formal education comes and is exposed, he or she gains skills which when he or she applies in her life, she gets to be creative, and the creativity is also uptaken by the government, which supports him or her by imposing laws which restrict others from picking up the idea and developing it in their own. I would like to sum it all with a quote that formal education is a fuel for a magnificent economy. For those people who have undergone formal education are coming up with ideas which are being of help in our country. Thank you.
We'll now hear closing statements from each team. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
A summary of what we've said. First point, formal education takes up the creative time of students. Second point, the students have passions and dreams that are irrelevant to the subjects which are being taught at schools. The third point, formal education lacks creative environment for the students. Fourth point, formal education breeds students to pass tests rather than whatever it is that we got in the teaching. Fifth point, formal education, instead of letting students choose their own creative path, it forces them to renovate things. Sixth point, formal education only molds students to study in regard to intellectual culture. That is the industrial and economic revolution. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have a minute for your final statements.
Once again, in the opposing team, I'd like to say that one should know the rules before you break them. For example, can you imagine of a Photoshop pro claiming to be a pro, yet he doesn't know how to use it? Take for an instance, this person is claiming that he's a Photoshop pro, yet he doesn't know how to use it. So, for example, how can he acquire the skills? He will acquire the skills even without formal education, but he will tend to take a long time before he acquire those skills. But then, can you imagine of a nation where there wasn't formal education? How will be the enhancement of creativity and research? How will also be the rate of illiteracy? Will it be high or low? Think of it. Thank you.
Salome, I think you start the team very well. I mean, you come out as a strong, powerful speaker, but so that simply means our expectations are very high for you, you know? But you disappear to the stage, you didn't utilize your time well, and so you're penalized based on that. And you say some statements that were in question when you say that formal education was designed for a different age. So I wanted to understand which one and for what reason. You know, it was good for you to explain to us. We have a lot of talks that go around whether formal education is really helping, because we have so many graduates that have to really look for jobs, you know, and they're not creative enough to come out and do this on their own. So there was a lot of examples I believe you could have drawn from. Ian, you are supposed to be a cross-examiner when you come to the stage. That simply means you are supposed to listen to your opponents and you come across and really weaken their points. Nonetheless, you did not do that, but you give a very, very, very good points, and you have a good flow. I think you're the strongest of the team. John, I want to really address you as a person, you know. This is normal when sometimes you have some stage fright, all right? So I want to encourage you and tell you sometimes this can be overcome by practice, and sometimes really doing extra practice, it will come out. And I think the audience was very much in support for you, for they appreciated you.
Magomano girls, the first debater, Helen, there's a lot that you can do, maybe to improve on your debating skills. Again, that energy is lacking. And I expected case studies, you know. This motion has been debated before. And look at cases where you can comfortably say that 844 has not killed creativity in the sporting field, maybe in education field, other sectors. Case studies really does wonders to the audience. Kamau, I think you're my best debater. I have 3 P's for you: passionate, practical, and persuasive. And I have 1 B for you. You are believable. I enjoy listening to you. And I love the fact that you brought up that formal education teaches us about past creativity, and we learn from the past creativity. That was a commendable task. A word of advice to the team: if Kamau is the best of the team, then she should be the one maybe making the final statement, closing statements. Always identify the best in your team. and let that person make the winding statement to leave an impact. That is not to say that Helen is bad. No, you are good. But the only thing is that there's someone who has matured and she can do better, possibly, than you. Finally, to Lynette, again, fairly interesting presentation, response to question, and also building the case. To the two teams, it was a fair debate. We can do a lot in order to improve on our debating skills. And to those ones here to take the stage, I think we still need better debates. So when you take the stage, kindly give us the best that you have prepared for us.
I can say the ones who began were a bit nervous, extremely nervous, and that's expected when you're starting. But the other thing I've noticed with the two teams, debating has a lot to do with public speaking skills. It's not really so much even content. You may have a lot of content, but if you don't deliver it well with the correct public speaking skills, you can lose us. For example, I wish most of you would have put your paper on the podium. Then you speak free and there's a good use of gestures, because I noticed for some of you, your ideas could not flow coherently because of the paper and we were getting distracted. You know, you want to show us the passion, but not because of the paper was coming your way. So learn to put your work on the podium and then you speak freely.
St. Xaviers High, the judges gave you 59%. Please give St. Xaviers a hand. Very commendable job. Magomano Girls, the judges gave you 69%, making you our winners.
Congratulations to the two teams, and we'd like to thank Safaricom M-Pesa and KBC Channel 1 and urge the members of the audience and our viewers back home to follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA. I have been Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Keep watching the Great Debaters contest.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.